I'll be taking class for an hour and a half from 10:30 to 12. So in the last class, we were discussing on the steam turbine pump, and we derived some expressions for work done and all. Maximizing the work, what are the expressions for blade efficiency and all. Today, we'll look into the reaction type of a turbine. So let's look at the single stage reaction reaction turbine. So I have clearly told that what is the peculiarity between maybe the difference between a kind of a reaction turbine and an impulse turbine is impulse turbine, your blades are like a bucket, but that's not the case in case of a reaction turbine. So if I draw a single stage, usually the first stage will be nozzle, nozzle is something like this. Then coming to rotor, what is the rotor file? Two blades are going to draw. So the phase profile will be something like fine. And the nozzle will be rotating in that. That means my peripheral velocity is fine. Now if I try to look at how my pressure and corresponding velocity varies in this phase. If I take the velocity, what will happen? The fluid will enter at some velocity. Velocity. And then the velocity keeps increasing in the nozzle. Then it remains constant in the gas. Then the kinetic energy gets absorbed in the rotor. So it exits almost at the same velocity. Right? So now what happens to your pressure? So it enters at high pressure. Pressure will be dropping. Then almost remains constant. And in the rotor also, uh, absorbed. So this is my
Hello?
yeah.
Sir, we can't hear you, sir.
Hello. Is it?
Sir, we can't hear your voice.
Why? One minute. Is there a problem with other end? Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I
Yes,
think
sir.
there is a problem at your end. I think
Yes, sir.
because it's going on fine here. Okay, fine. Okay, now it's fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So now, so this is my pressure and heat. Why this is called as a reaction turbine means? See, I could see that both velocity and this is the reason why it is called as the reaction turbine. You can see I'm just circling that. Both pressure and velocity gets observed in the rotor. But in case of the impulse turbine, it was only velocity getting observed. The pressure is almost remaining same except the pressure drop, the slight pressure drop. Other than that, so the pressure was almost same in case of an impulse machine, but in case of a reaction machine, both my pressure and the velocity gets absorbed or keep decreasing, and that is getting converted to your corresponding work. So that's why this kind of machines are called as reaction machines. Now, if I try to draw the velocity diagram for such a machine, if I try to draw the velocity diagram for such a machine, so what's it? I had already told that. So for a, if I try to see, draw the velocity diagram, I'm going to draw the combined velocity diagram. CR1. Similarly, I do have and I try to draw the components of V, one and one. I have,
Hello.
yeah, tell me.
Sir, we can't. There is a lot of disturbance. We can't hear anything, sir.
Now, can you hear me?
No, sir. No, sir. The voice is very low.
It's not like that. I have said 50%. Can you now? What about now?
No, sir. It is still low.
Maybe some problem at your. What about other?
Everyone is saying the same thing, sir. They're
Yes, sir. We are
messaging.
also having.
So what I will do? No, what I will do is
Yes, sir.
actually I will cut the call and then rejoin. No?
Okay, sir.
Call and rejoin. So that will be better option. Cut the call and rejoin. Okay. Can you hear me now? Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? Hello. Praful, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, sir, it is audible.
Oh, fine, fine. I cut the call and rejoined. Huh? Shall we continue? Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So representing it. Okay, fine. Now, this is my corresponding velocity diagram. And if you look at it, this is my VW2. So the VW2 is in this direction. VW2. And what is the corresponding alpha? So this is the flow angle. Flow angle at the exit. And my beta 1 lead angle at the exit and wade angle at the inlet. I got the beta 1 and beta 2. Now, if you closely look at it, in most of the reaction turbines, in most of the reaction turbines, so if my R is equal to 0.5, R is equal to 0.5, the type of turbine what we look at is, if R is equal to 0.5, and that is the kind of partial, that type of turbine we call it as partial steam turbine, which is mostly in most of the steam turbine power plants working on reaction type actually. Parsons steam turbine is very popular, where your R, the degree of reaction is zero point 0.5. For this case, for this particular alpha, my R is equal to zero point 0.5, there is a condition, that is my alpha 1 is equal to beta 2 and alpha 2 is equal to beta 1. Why it is so? So I can clearly look at the velocity triangle and try to, so what is this condition? And also what this particular condition, this is with an ideal condition, that is my Vf1 is equal to Vf2. So those conditions are satisfied. That means I don't have any frictional losses as the fluid flows over the blade. So that condition is prevailed. If my alpha 1 is equal to beta 2, if that is the case, if alpha 1 is equal to beta 2, so what will happen? The corresponding VR1, VR2. So your V1, so if my alpha 1 is equal to beta 2, automatically my V1 and your VR2 will be the same. Fine. If my, for, see, this is only valid for VF1 and VF2, both are same. If they are ideal, if the flow velocities, that is my VR1, VR2, so those things, VF1 and VF2, the frictional losses are not there. If my beta 1 is equal to alpha 2, then my VR1 is equal to VR2. So for this condition, my V1 is equal to, so your V1 is equal to VR2 and my V2 is equal to VR1. So this condition is what which will happen whenever my R is equal to 0.5. So I can write this condition. I can write this condition. See, I have written one type of velocity triangle. The similar type of velocity triangle, I think in most of your R Yadav and all, yes, written the velocity triangle in this fashion. So that also I'll write. So what will happen is, so you might have written the velocity in this direction, fine, and you might have written the V1 in this direction, VR1 in this direction, then your R2 and fine. So if I try to close the triangle with other components, by V2, by VW2, and by
Hello,
VW. Yeah,
sir.
tell me. Yeah, tell me.
Hello, sir. We can't hear you, sir. We can't hear you, sir.
Everything is
Same problem is
why
happening,
the problem. Everything is
and there is some kind of disturbance, sir.
what disturbance you're getting? What disturbance you're getting?
It's kind of sound, sir.
Sound. Everything is fine here. What is the sound? Not anything. Network issue or something is because my Jio is fine. It's working fine. Now,
No, sir. We can't hear.
can't hear. What is the problem? Is the problem with everyone the same thing? Everyone has the same problem, or only few?
Yes, sir.
No, Pranav.
There is a problem with voice.
Yes, sir, we can't hear you.
No, voice maybe the problem with the network connection. Network connection is one issue.
And there is some kind of disturbance, sir. Disturbance.
No, disturbance in the sense actually is it voice is breaking?
Why is this not breaking, sir? It is kind of some sound. going on behind while you're talking.
Kind of sound. I can't reconnect my audio. Now? Now it's fine?
Yes, sir. It is. Yes, sir.
Now it's fine? Okay.
Ah,
I
yes,
have
sir. It is.
reconnected. I have reconnected the mic. I have reconnected the mic. I think there may be some echo. Okay. Now it should. Okay. Fine. So it should be fine now. Now this is the what they are given in your R Yadav one. So this is your VW2 and V2. This is your V1. Sorry, VF1, and this is your VW1. Okay. Now, is there a difference between the velocity triangles what I have drawn? Both the triangles are the same. Either you can draw, say some of the textbooks will draw this as the velocity triangle, and some textbooks they will draw this as the velocity triangles. But one thing is actually both should satisfy the vector addition and subtraction. Vector addition and subtraction. So if this is satisfied, what is the principle actually? My V is equal to U plus your VR. This is the condition it has to satisfy, where V, capital V is the absolute velocity, U is my peripheral velocity, VR is the relative velocity. This condition until now is satisfied. This type of triangle we call it as combined velocity triangle. And why we have to go for combined velocity triangles? So most of the steam turbines what we see in maybe either it's an impulse or a reaction type, when you go for multi-staging, it is easy to draw a combined velocity triangle for each stage and show how the energy transfer takes place. So that with that in mind, actually, this combined velocity triangle has been drawn actually. Okay, so if you look into this velocity triangles, fine. So this is your alpha 1, alpha 2, and beta 2, and so now onwards I can use either, if I call this as first type of or second type, both we can use and we can solve the problem. Both will end up with a similar kind of a solution. Now, when we are looking at the R is equal to 0.5 of reaction turbines, we are supposed to derive the expression for work done. Fine. So, what are the conditions? So, let us list out the conditions. So, what are the conditions we got? The first condition what we do is actually R is equal to 0.5. That is the degree of reaction. The degree of reaction is 0.5. The second condition is the blade angles. The blade angles conditions are my beta 1 is equal to alpha 2 and beta 2 is equal to alpha 1. So this condition. So now the velocity of the steam. So the velocity of the steam entering the first stage, remains same as it leaves the last stage. This is the condition for what is it actually? This velocity. So this is almost the same. These are the same level. That's the meaning of it. The velocity of the steam entering the first stage and the velocity of the steam leaving the last stage almost same. Okay. So with that, let us derive the expression for the work done. Expression for work done per kg of steam. So what is it actually? That means it is a specific work, that is W by M. That's the meaning of it. Okay. So already you know this from the Euler's equation. From the Euler's equation already we have derived my W is equal to VW1 minus VW2 into U. Okay. Now if you look at this particular thing, VW1 and VW2, they are in opposite direction. They are not in the same direction. As VW2 is in opposite direction, so it is minus VW2. So my work done expression, I can write it as VW1 minus of minus, it is VW2 into U. This is the original expression, is VW1 minus VW2. Now if I call this as expression number 1, let us go to the velocity triangles. From the velocity triangles. Fine. Now, if I go here, what is my cos alpha 1? Cos alpha 1 is equal to your adjacent side divided by your hypotenuse. That is VW1 divided by V1. What is my cos alpha 2? Cos alpha 2 is equal to VW2 divided by V2. So now, I will go here from the velocity triangles at inlet and exit. At inlet and exit, I can write cos alpha 1 is equal to your VW1 divided by V1, or I can write VW1 is equal to V1 cos alpha 1. Similarly, cos alpha 2 is equal to VW2 by V2, or I can write VW2 is equal to V2 cos alpha. This may be first steps are repeating. After that, I will substitute for alpha 1 is equal to your alpha 1 is equal to beta 2, and beta 2 is equal to alpha 1, and VR1 is equal to V2. So those conditions, those conditions when I substitute, your equations are going to change. Now substitute this two, that is VW1 and VW2. Substitute for VW1 and VW2 in equation 1. If I substitute, what I am going to get, my W is equal to VW1 is actually this V1 cos alpha 1 plus V2 cos alpha 2 into U. Fine. Now let me call this as equation number 2. Now if I go to my exit velocity triangle, so from the exit velocity triangle, what is cos beta 2? Let me go here. What is my cos beta 2? Cos beta 2 is equal to, fine, your cos beta 2. If I look into that, it's equal to this one. So this is my U plus VW2. Cos beta 2 is equal to U plus VW2 divided by VR2. Fine. So cos beta 2 is equal to VW2 plus U divided by VR2, or I can write VW2 is equal to VR2 cos beta 2 minus u. Fine. See, in one form of equation, I can write it as V2 cos alpha 2. In the similar form, here I can write the same VW2 in terms of cos beta 2 also. So if I try to substitute VW1 and VW, so this is one form of equation. I can call it as 2. Another form I can call it as 2 dash or 2 hyphen or whatever it may be. So similar now, if I substitute for VW2 in the VW1 and VW2 in my original expression, substitute for VW1 and VW2 in my original equation. If I do that, I'll be getting V1 cos alpha 1 plus VR2 cos beta 2 minus u into u. So this is, if I call it as 2 dash. Now look at these expressions. See, one expression I have in terms of alpha and one expression I have in terms of beta. Fine. One expression in terms of alpha, one expression in terms of beta. Why I have taken this particular thing? See, I will convert that one particular point. See, what is your cos alpha? Cos alpha I can write in terms of cos beta, or your alpha 2 is equal to beta, or VR2 I can write it as V1. VR2 I can write as V1. So these are some of the conditions which prevails only in case of your Parsons term, that is reaction term. Fine. So this is one form of equation, and we have another form of equation like this in terms of beta. Now if I take the original expression, so if the equation 2 is taken and substitute my alpha 2 is equal to beta 1, alpha 2 is equal to, then what will happen? If alpha 2 is equal to beta 1, then what will happen? My alpha 1 is equal to alpha 1. Alpha 1 is equal to beta 2. My alpha 1 is equal to beta 2. And right, alpha 1 is equal to beta 2. Then my VR2 is equal to V1 for what? For R is equal to 0.5. Alpha 1 is equal to beta 2 and beta 2 is equal to alpha 1, beta 1 is equal to alpha 2. So whatever it may be. Alpha 1 is equal to beta 2. If that is the case, what will happen to your condition? And you have your VR2 is equal to V1. VR2 is equal to V1. So what I will do, I will take the expression. I can take any one of the expressions. Either V cos alpha 1. Alpha 1 I can write in terms of beta 2. So if I take the 2, so what will happen? Is equal to V1, I will write it as it is. If I write it as V, I can write it as B1 cos alpha 1, I can write it as cos beta 2 plus VR2 I can write it as V1 and I will retain as it as cos beta 2. Fine. Cos beta, so alpha 2 I can alpha 2, yeah, so equation 2 dash, sorry, equation 2 dash cos beta 2 minus u into your u. So I'm taking 2 dash, sorry, not to 1. So V1 cos beta 2 plus VR2 is equal to V1. So V1 cos beta 2 minus u into u. So what is this actually? This is V1 cos beta 2 plus V1 cos beta 2. I can write it as 2 V1 cos beta 2 minus u into u. Fine. Or I have another condition where you have your corresponding, I can write in terms of, this is in terms of beta 2, or I can write the whole thing beta 2 in terms of alpha, or the same thing, W is equal to, so V1 cos alpha 1 plus V1 cos alpha 1 minus U into U, or W is equal to 2V1 cos alpha 1 minus U into U. So either I can write in terms of beta 2 or in terms of alpha 1. I can call this as 3 and this as equation 4. Okay. So this is the expression for work done. I can write in terms of alpha and beta. Alpha 1 or beta this one. So now if I open up the bracket, I'm writing in detail, so you can go in steps. I can write in detail actually. So if I take the equation 3 and substitute the speed ratio, if phi is actually, what is it actually? Phi is the speed ratio, which is the ratio of your peripheral speed to your absolute velocity. So this is your speed ratio. So this is the definition of speed ratio, which is the ratio of peripheral speed to your absolute velocity at the inlet. So if that's the case, if I take equation 3, so I will try for both. If I take for 3, W is equal to, if I try to, so this will be 2V1 cos beta 2 into U. If I open the bracket, this will be 2U V1 cos beta 2 minus U square. Fine. This is one expression. Or let me write side by side. Fine. So for equation 4, what will happen? For equation 4, this will be W is equal to 2U V1 cos alpha 1 minus U square. So one in terms of alpha, other one in terms of beta. Both are expressions for work done. Okay. Now if I substitute phi is equal to U by V1 square, if that is the case, so now if I try to simplify this, so if I take my V1 square outside here, I can write this as 2U by V1, that is multiply by V1 square. Multiply, and if I do that, multiply and divided by V1 square, that is multiply and divided by V1 square. So multiply and divided by V1 square throughout. If I do that, so what I'm left with actually V1 square outside, so this will be 1 V1 will go off, so V1 square, if I take it, this will be 2U into V1 into cos beta 2 minus this will be U square by V1 square. This is one expression. So similarly here, if I do that, same thing if I do here also, multiply and divided by V1 square, this will be the V1 square is outside, 2 into U by V1 cos alpha 1 minus U square by V1 square. So what is U by V? It is phi. So V1 square as it is, this will be 2 phi cos beta 2 minus phi square. So this will be W is equal to V1 square into 2 phi cos alpha 1 minus phi square. So I can call this as expression number 5. So these are the expressions for work done in terms of, so this is the expression for work done see, sometimes they may ask this. See, obtain the expressions for work done in terms of speed ratio, the blade angle beta. If they ask it, then you have to take the left hand side, from equation 3. If they ask you, so show the work done expression in terms of phi and your alpha 1, that is your flow angles at the inlet, and your corresponding V1. So then your expression should be, so if I call this as equation phi, so this is, so both I can call it as expression phi. So this expression phi is nothing but, this is the expression for work done for your condition. How can I maximize this? How can I maximize this? If you look at this particular thing, so for a given beta, see, for a given beta, this is also for a given alpha. For a given beta, for a given alpha, so how can I maximize this? If I want to get the maximum of this particular thing, what should I do? So dw by d phi and equate it to 0. So here also dw by d phi and equate it to 0. If I do that, so I'll be getting the corresponding maximum, W max. So if I take this particular expression, so if I take the left hand side, d by d phi into V1 square into 2 phi cos theta 2 minus phi square is equal to 0. If I do for one, other thing will follow. Then here it will be d by d phi into V1 square into 2 phi cos beta 2 minus phi square is equal to 0. Okay, so what will be the maximum work done actually? If I want to differentiate it, what I am going to get actually? So this will be V1 square will just simply go off. I am left with d by d phi of 2 phi cos beta 2 minus phi square is equal to 0. So here also it is d by d phi into 2 phi cos alpha 2. This is cos alpha 1. So cos alpha 1, 2 phi cos alpha 1 minus phi square is equal to 0. So what will the if I differentiate, what I am going to get? So this is, I multiply by u. So it is in terms of this thing. So if I differentiate this actually, I am going to get 2 cos beta 2 minus 2 phi is equal to 0, or your cos beta 2 will be 2. Your cos beta 2 will be 2 cos beta 2 is equal to 2 phi, or I have a condition, your phi will be equal to cos beta 2. So similarly, if I do here, it will be 2 cos alpha 1 is equal to, take that step, minus 2 phi is equal to 0, or 2 cos alpha 1 is equal to 2 phi, or your phi is equal to cos alpha 1. Or I can write a combined statement from both. What is the combined statement? It is your phi is equal to cos beta 2 is equal to cos alpha 1. So what should I do? Substitute for phi in my expression phi. Substitute for phi in equation phi. So what is my equation phi actually? W is equal to, W is equal to this one. So W is equal to either in terms of your alpha, what are it? V1 square into 2 phi, V1 square into your 2 phi. So there I am going to put cos beta 2 or alpha 1 phi into phi, that is cos beta square. Okay, so cos beta square into your corresponding cos beta 2 minus your cos square beta 2. Or I can write in terms of W is equal to V1 square into 2 cos square alpha 1 minus cos square alpha 1. So further simplification, I can take cos square beta 1 outside. So this will be V1 square into cos square beta 2 into cos beta 2 minus 1 or V1 square. So this is W max, V1 square into cos square alpha 1 is equal to 2. Sorry, 2 cos beta. I have it out that now. We have a 2 here. We have 2. We have 2. So this is 2 cos alpha 1 minus. So this will be your expression for maximum. That is V1 square cos alpha 1, cos square alpha 1 or cos square beta 2 into, if it is in terms of beta, it is 2 cos beta 2 minus 1, or if it is in terms of alpha, it is 2 cos alpha 1 minus 1. This is the expression for maximum work done. This is for a condition where it is for a degree of reaction R is equal to 0.5. Fine. So similarly, we have to derive the expression for blade efficiency. Okay. Now before we discuss on the blade efficiency, let us write the expression for the enthalpy drop. We call that as enthalpy drop or system. So what are the energies involved in case of your turbine? So the energy is kinetic energy. So if I try to write what are the energies supplied to the, this is about your expression for the work done. So we will stop here, this particular thing. Now what are the energies involved? So I try to write the energies and especially the kinetic energy. If suppose V1 is the absolute energy with which the fluid enters, so I can write the kinetic energy supplied, the kinetic energy supplied to the fixed blade, or maybe at the inlet, I can call it as the inlet, fixed blade, or at the inlet, I can call it as at inlet, sub to the blade of the inlet, at the inlet. So it is V1 square divided by 2. Now, what is the kinetic energy on the moving blade? The kinetic energy on the moving blade. It is actually VR2 square minus VR1 square divided. So there is a relative velocity between your moving blade when at the exit. So VR2 is the exit relative velocity and VR1 is the relative velocity at the inlet. So what is the total energy supplied? So the total energy supplied is equal to, per stage, total energy supplied, you can call it as, see, if I to the supply to the blade means this is at the inlet or at the stator. So this is V1 square, that is the first expression, plus VR2 square minus VR1 square by 2. So if you add up everything, so this is nothing but, they call this as enthalpy change per stage expressed in terms of your velocities. Expressed in terms of velocities. Suppose for this particular condition, if R is equal to 0.5, I am writing a general expression, then I am deducing it for a R is equal to 0.5. If R is equal to 0.5, already we have seen either alpha 1 is equal to beta 2 or alpha 2 is equal to beta 1. So whatever the way I want to write it. So for the first condition, it is Br2 is equal to V1 or my Vr1 is equal to V2. So what will happen to your corresponding delta H per stage? So delta H stage per stage will become something like this. Therefore, delta H per stage is equal to, so V1 square by 2 is it as it is. So what will happen to your corresponding VR2 square or VR1 square? I can replace it. Either I can write in terms of V1. So your VR2 I can write in terms of V1. So what will happen? This will become V1 square minus VR2 square by 2. So what is your VR2? VR2 is once again V2. I can write this as, just VR2 I can write it as, see, VR2 I am writing it as V1 and VR1 I can write it as V2. Write it as V2. Fine. I am writing it as V2. So what this will be? This will be, I can write it as V1 square. V1 square, this is off actually. I can write it as V1 square minus, either in terms of VR1 square I can retain as it is, or I can write in terms of V2. I can write the same expression as V1 square by 2 plus V1 square minus VR1 square by 2. As it is, I can retain. So V1 square by 2. So this I can write V1 square by 2. This particular thing, just add up V1 square by 2, V1 square by 2. This is actually, I can write V1 square minus V2 square. Either V2 square by 2 or V1 square minus VR1 square by 2. This is only for R is equal to 0.5. For this condition, this is valid. Delta H per stage. This is only valid for this particular conditions. So for other conditions, this is the general expression. This is my general expressions. So what I am writing now, this is my general expression. So if I call this as, so 1, this as 2, this as 3, these are my conditions 4, and this is 5, yeah, this is 6. So these conditions prevail. Now, if you go back and look into our trigonometry, so from the inlet velocity triangle, so if you know the cosine rule, what is the cosine rule? Let me write that cosine rule. What does it tell? Say for example, if I try to go with inlet velocity triangle, yeah, look at this velocity triangle, I can write my VR1 square is equal to your V1 square plus your U1 square minus 2V1 U cos alpha 1. So I'm writing in terms of my VR1. So I can write, so that is my cosine rule. So I can write it as, from my cosine rule I can write VR1 square is equal to V1 square plus, if U is common, I'm writing it as U. Otherwise I would have written U1 square. So U square minus 2 V1 U cos alpha 1. Okay. Now what is delta H per stage? So I will substitute for VR1. So if I call this as 7, and here my VR1 is equal to V2. As per this, I can write in terms of VR1 or in terms of V2. So whatever it may be. So substitute for VR1 square in equation 6. So substitute, what will happen? Your delta H per stage is equal to V1 square minus, if I substitute everything, this will be V1 square plus U square minus 2V1 U cos alpha 1, fine, cos alpha 1, the whole thing. So cos alpha 1 divided by 2. So this is my VR1 square. So now if I take the corresponding LCM, if I take 2 as an LCM, what will happen? So this is in the bracket. This is in the bracket. So what this will be, I can, if I take 2 as the common, take 2 as the denominator. So this will be 2V1 square minus V1 square. So everything else will automatically turns out to be minus plus minus plus. So minus U square plus 2V1 U cos alpha 1. So 2V1 square minus V1 square will become 1V1 square, that is plus V1 square plus 2V1 U cos alpha 1 minus U square. I'm writing to the last whole thing divided by. So this is your enthalpy change per stage. Okay. Now is it possible for us to modify this? Yes, we can do that. So we can just take the V1 square by 2 outside. If I take V1 square by 2 outside, V1 square by 2 outside, if I take, what I'm left with? I'm left with 1 plus 2 into 1 V1 square if it goes out. So this will be U by V1, and as it is your cos alpha 1 minus U square by V1 square. So already we have defined the speed ratio as U is equal to, already we have defined, fine, U by V1. I can write this as, that is delta H per stage is equal to V1 square by 2 is into 1 plus 2 into U by V1, I can write it as 5 into cos alpha 1 minus 5 square. So this is your, sometimes they call this as the corresponding delta H naught, that is what is your stagnation enthalpy change or stage enthalpy change. If that is the derived expression for this particular thing, this is your expression. So the previous thing was for the work done. So what is the expression for enthalpy change? This is the enthalpy change. Now, why I have derived this particular thing? Because what is your blade efficiency or vane efficiency? It's the ratio of work done to your enthalpy change or energy supplied. Already we have the expression for work done, and now we have the expression for delta H. You take the ratio of it, you will get the corresponding blade efficiency or vane efficiency. Okay. The next thing is actually it is the expression for blade or vane efficiency. So I am doing in detail. Maybe this undergraduate, why I am doing this particular thing is in your undergraduate course, steam turbines is something like in your turbo machines course is very often it is they simply leave for you people to study. So when you come to master's level, this becomes basics for you. So that's why I'm doing in detail this particular expression for blade or vane efficiency. What are the expressions? So if you go by definition, the blade efficiency or vane efficiency, so this is neta P. So if I define it, is equal to work done per kg of steam divided by total energy supplied or enthalpy change or whatever it may be. So total energy supplied per kg of steam. What is it actually? This is your W by M, already we have defined by delta H of the stage. This gives your blade efficiency. I call this as expression 1. What is the expression for work done for this thing? Either I can substitute in terms of alpha, either in terms of beta. Either you can substitute for alpha 1 or in terms of beta. Both will end up with the same thing. Fine. So now here I have gone with alpha 1, I will go with alpha 1. So alpha 1 is equal, I can write the same thing with alpha 1 is equal to beta 2 also. You know that all the expressions will be in terms of beta 2. So choice is yours, whatever way you want. Now I will go with alpha 1. So the expression, if I substitute, your blade efficiency is equal to, so what is the work done expression? It is V1 square into 25, no? V1 square, yeah, V1 square into 2, yeah, we'll go here, yeah, this expression, 2 cos alpha 1 minus 1 square, this expression, this one, I'll take that expression, okay. It is W is equal to V1 square into 2 phi cos alpha 1 minus phi square divided by, just now we derived the expression for your delta H stage, that is V1 square by 2 phi into 1 plus 2 phi cos alpha 1 minus phi 2 square. So I will write in terms of beta 2 to the right hand side. So if you want to do that as a practice, you can try that. This will be V1 square into 2 phi cos beta 2 minus phi square divided by, so V1 square by 2 into 1 plus 2 phi cos beta 2 minus phi square. So you can try that also, you will end up with a similar expression. Now this is the expression. Now V1 square just they cancel out. So I am left with denominator will go to the numerator. This will be 2 into 2 phi cos alpha 1 minus phi square divided by divided by 1 plus 2 phi cos alpha 1 minus phi square. This is the expression for your blade efficiency. So what I'm going to do for this expression, to modify this, I'm going to add 1 and subtract 1. So add 1 and subtract 1 if I do. So inside that particular thing and multiply it by 2. So what do you mean by it actually? This expression I will add plus 1 and minus 1 in numerator. Just to modify this expression, that's it. If I do that, what I'm going to get actually 2 into 1 plus 2 phi cos alpha 1 minus phi square. Fine. So this is minus 1. So plus 1 minus 1 whole thing divided by 1 plus 2 phi cos alpha 1 minus phi square. So now what is 2 into, so I can take minus 1 if I take multiply by 1, what I'm going to get actually. So this will be 2 into 1 plus 2 phi cos alpha 1 minus phi square. So 2 into minus 1 I can take it out. So this will be minus 2. So 2 into minus 1 I am taking it out. So for only this particular thing, only for the first part I have the bracket outside. This will be 1 plus 2 phi cos alpha 1 minus phi square. Okay. Now if you look at this expression, so I can simplify. So this will be 2 as it is, 2 minus 2 whole thing divided by 1 plus 2 phi cos alpha 1 minus phi square. So I can call that as expression number 2. This is the expression for your blade efficiency. This is the expression for blade efficiency. Now, see, if for a given alpha 1, for a given alpha 1, for a given alpha 1 is alpha 1 is kept constant, then what will happen? Your blade efficiency is varying with respect to phi. So what should I do? I should, so how to maximize this? To maximize, so I should differentiate b neta b with respect to phi and equate it to 0. So if I differentiate it, I'll be getting a condition for maximum blade efficiency. So what I will do actually, d by d phi into that particular neta b I will express as 2 minus 2 divided by 1 plus 2 phi cos alpha 1 minus phi 2 square is equal to 0. Fine. Now if I differentiate it, what I'm going to get, the first part will just simply go off. What I'm left with actually, only the bottom part. Only you have your 2 phi. See, only I'm left with only 2 phi cos alpha 1 minus 2 phi is equal to 0. Hope we have got the similar condition for work done also. That is your, sorry, this 2 cos alpha 1. If I differentiate, I'll be getting my cos alpha 1 is equal to phi, which is equal to u by v. Or similarly, I can write cos alpha 1 is equal to beta. I can write this will be the condition. So I want you people to try this. This is a very simple thing. So already we have got this. Cos alpha 1 is equal to cos beta 2 is equal to phi. If you go back and see for your work done, already we have seen this. I can write your phi, which is already we got the similar expression for the work done, similar condition. So my condition for work done and condition for this thing will end up with the same thing. So phi is equal to cos alpha 1, which is equal to cos beta. Now substitute this in your blade efficiency. Substitute in the blade efficiency equations. That is equation 2. What is the blade efficiency equation? Is equal to, it is 2 minus 2 divided by, so 1 plus 2 cos alpha 1 into cos alpha 1 minus cos alpha 1 square cos alpha 1 square. So if I simplify, this will be 2 minus 2 divided by, okay, 1 plus 2 cos square alpha 1, right, minus cos square alpha 1, cos square alpha 1. So if I take the difference of 2 cos square alpha 1 minus 1 cos square alpha 1, I am left with 2 minus 2 divided by, fine, 1 plus cos square alpha 1. Okay, so I can simplify this. So this will be your expression. I can leave it as it is, or further I can simplify. So to do that, what I'm going to do actually, I can add plus 2 to minus 2. If I do that, simply add and subtract minus, so plus 2 and minus 2 in the numerator. So this will be 2 plus, so maybe further simplification, something like if I take the LCM with 1 plus cos square alpha 1, this will be 2 into 1 plus cos square alpha 1 minus 2. It is 2 plus 2 cos square alpha 1 minus 2 divided by 1 plus 2 cos square alpha 1. So 2 just goes off. I'm left with 2 cos square alpha 1 divided by 1 plus 2 cos square alpha 1. This is the maximum efficiency. What is your cos alpha 1? I can write in terms of phi. So they may ask you the derivation. Show that your maximum blade efficiency in terms of phi. This is 2 pi square divided by 1 plus 2 pi square. Either of the thing. So this is your expression. So this is your corresponding, if I can call this as equation 3, and either this is your equation 4. So phi is equal to cos alpha 1 or cos beta 2. So this is the expression in terms of your phi. This is the expression in terms of phi. Maximum blade efficiency is equal to 2 phi square by 1 plus phi square, or your blade efficiency is equal to 2 cos square alpha 1. So, or I can write in terms of beta also is equal to 2 cos square beta 2 divided by 1 plus 2 cos square beta 2. So I can have the expression in these three formats. All the three are same. All the three are same. So these are the expressions for your corresponding expression for the work done and maximum work done, then the blade efficiency and the corresponding maximum blade efficiency. So these are the expressions for your reaction turbines. So any doubts or any clarifications we can discuss, and I think if the time permits, I think I can solve one numericals. So any questions? Gurnath, Akash, Pranav, Praful, you can unmute and you can ask questions. Anything. So these are the simple derivations. It's a bit lengthy because a lot of mathematics is involved. I have tried to done as much as possible in detail, and this should have been taught in your turbo machines course. Anyhow, this is in steam and gas turbines. I think this has been brought in. So expression for work done, expressions for blade efficiency for a reaction turbine. That's a steam reaction turbine, single stage. So like if I go for multiple stage, actually it's only you have to put the corresponding velocity triangle. So if there are no questions, we'll take up one numerical. Fine, we'll take one numerical, a single stage impulse turbine numerical. I'll take it and have the corresponding tutorial also. Yeah, look at this steam turbines tutorial. A single stage steam turbine snapshot. One minute, I'll come back. I'll take the snapshot of it and then I'll try to share it. Single stage steam turbine. Problem number 1. We'll try to solve one numerical. Okay. Okay. So this is the numerical. So a single stage impulse turbine has a diameter of 1.5 meter and running at 3000 rpm. The nozzle angle is 20 degrees. The speed ratio is 0.45 and the ratio of the relative velocity at the outlet to that at the inlet is 0.9. The outlet angle of the blade is 3 degrees less than that of an inlet angle. Steam flow rate is 6 kg per second. They are given the mass flow rate. Draw the velocity diagram and find the velocity of the whirl, axial thrust, the blade angles and the power developed. Okay, so let us write what is given and then we'll try to draw the corresponding velocity triangle and we'll try to solve it. Right. So solution. So what is given? So the diameter is given as 1.5 meters. So that is the mean diameter. N is 3000 rpm and the nozzle angle is alpha 1 is 20 degrees, and your speed ratio, that is phi, is equal to u by v1 is equal to 0.45, and your CBR, your blade coefficient, whatever is there, that loss relative coefficient, you can take it as KB or CB, both are same, it is 0.9, and your beta 2 is 3 degrees less than your beta 1. So blade angle, the outlet blade angle, that beta 2 is 3 degrees less than your inlet blade angle, and your mass flow rate is 6 kg per second. And what we are supposed to find? We are supposed to find your velocity of the whirl at the inlet and velocity of the whirl at the exit. The second one is the axial thrust, and third angle is the blade angles beta 1 and so if I try to find one blade angle, other angle is less than 3. So if I try to find beta 2, so beta 1, if I find, beta 2 will be beta 1 minus 3. So it is easy for me. So one of the blade angle I need to find, and the fourth one is the power down. Okay. So let's draw the velocity triangle. So whatever the way we want, so let's go with, I have the, this is my u. So both the ways, I will solve it this way or that way. Both the ways it's fine. This is my V1, VR1, and this is your V2, and sorry, this is VR2 and this is V2. This is your VR2 and V2. This is your VF2. This is my VW2, and I can draw the corresponding VF1, VW1, and this is my alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, and beta 2. So I draw the corresponding velocity triangle. So I can draw in other way also. Maybe I told that 1 and 2 methods, so I can use either 1 or 2. Maybe the next problem where I'll go with the first method. So both ways you should be familiar with how you can draw the velocity triangles. And one more thing is, maybe in the next class I will try to put the same thing in a maybe on the graph sheet. So the same thing I can draw it on a graph sheet and we can solve it. Put it on the graph sheet and try to solve. Okay. What is the u actually? U is equal to pi d n by 60. Fine. What is my d? It is actually pi into 1.5 into 3000 divided by 60. 3000 by 60. So it is 235.6 meters per second. So what is my phi? Phi is equal to u divided by v1. So it's equal to, what is my u? So I can find the v1 from this. So v1 is equal to u by phi, 235.56 divided by 0.45. So V1, if I substitute, I'll be getting around 523.8 meters per second. Okay, now look at the velocity triangles. So if I look at the velocity triangles, I can solve this using the velocity triangles. What is sine alpha 1? So maybe in the next class, I will teach you the same thing, how to solve the same problem using graph sheet. So you can solve the same problem using graph sheet. Graphically you can solve, or you can solve using your trigonometric principles. What is the sine alpha 1? Sine alpha 1 is equal to Vf1 divided by V1. Okay. Sine alpha 1 is equal to Vf1 divided by V1, or Vf1 is equal to V1 sine alpha 1. So what is my V1? It is 523.8 into sine alpha 1 is sine 20. Sine 20, if I substitute in my calculator, this comes to around 179. You can cross check this. Vf1 is equal to 179. Now similarly, from the same velocity, this is from the inlet velocity triangle, cos alpha 1 is equal to, it is Vw1 divided by V1, or it is Vw1 is equal to V1 cos alpha 1, or 523.8 into cos 20. If I do that, that comes to around 492 meters per second. Now, if you go and see what is this actually? This is your x. What is x actually? X is equal to Vw1 minus u. So if I look into this particular triangle, what is my tan beta? Tan beta 1 is equal to Vf1 divided by x. That is your opposite side by adjacent side. So from the same inlet triangle, from the velocity triangle, I can write tan beta 1 is equal to Vf1 divided by, that is Vw1 minus u. Okay. So tan beta 1 is equal to, what is my Vf1? It is 179. What is my Vw1? It is 492. What is my u? Just now we found out it is u is equal to 235.6. If I substitute everything, I'll be getting tan beta is equal to beta. If you take the tan inverse of it, it comes to around 34.97 degrees, or I can round it off to 35 degrees. That is my beta 1. Okay. So what is my, therefore, my beta 2 is equal to beta 1 minus 3 degrees. That is, this will be 35 minus 3, 32 degrees. I got my both the blade angles. And they have given CB, which is actually the friction, that is VR2 by VR1, which is 0.9. So your VR2 is equal to 0.9 times your VR1. Okay. So this is what they are given from the, so I don't know the value of VR1. So if I consider the same triangle, what is my sine beta 1? Sine beta 1 is equal to Vf1 divided by VR1. Vf1 divided by VR1. If I do that, I'll be getting the VR. So from the velocity triangle, sine beta 1 is equal to your Vf1 divided by VR1, or VR1 is equal to Vf1 divided by sine beta 1. What is sine beta 1? Beta 1 is 35. Already we got that number. So I can write it as Vf1 is equal to, already we have the number, which is 179 divided by sine 34.9 or 35 if I substitute, I will get my VR1 is equal to 312 meters per second, or my VR2 is equal to 0.9 into 312. If I do, that will be 281 meters per second. Okay. Now, if I go to the outlet velocity triangle, what is my cos beta 2? Cos beta 2 is equal to, if I call this as, see, if I go to the outlet triangle, cos beta 2 is equal to, from this point to this point, that is u plus VW2. U plus VW2. Cos beta 2 is equal to your u plus VW2 divided by your corresponding your VR2. So VR2, if I do that, so I will use that same formula, that is cos beta 2 is equal to VW2 plus u divided by VR2. What is the value of, how to find that VW2 plus u? So VW2 plus u, I need to find that from this cos beta 2. So what is the value of VR2? I know. What is the value of u? I know. From this I can find easily the corresponding VW2. So cos beta 2. Beta 2 is how much? Beta 2 is 32 degrees. So this is cos 32 degrees is equal to VW2, and u is equal to your corresponding, what we have calculated, 235.6, 235.6 divided by 281. Fine. Then if I substitute, VW2 is equal to 281 into cos 32. Fine. 235. So VW2 is equal to 281 cos 32 minus 235. I am getting around 3.2 meters per second. 3.2 meters per second. What is my VF2? See here, because of your friction, VF1 is not equal to VF2. So I can find, so I can use the corresponding sin beta 2 is equal to VF2 divided by VR2, or my VF2 is equal to VR2 into sin beta 2 is equal to, my VR2 is equal to 281 into sin 32. I am getting my VF2 is equal to 148 meters per second. Your VF1 is 179 and my VF2 is less than your VF1 because there is a friction existing. So what is the first thing you have to find? You have to find VW1 and VW2, that is found. So if I want to find delta VW, okay, this is VW1 minus VW2. Now look at, if you come to velocity triangle, VW2 is in this direction and VW1 is in this direction. VW1 is in that direction. So the combined delta VW will be VW1 minus of minus, that is plus VW2. This you have to be very careful when you are drawing the triangle. Suppose this triangle is changed, then VW2 and VW1, if they are in the same direction, the formula I am supposed to use is VW1 minus VW2. If they are in opposite directions, I should use VW1 minus of minus, that is VW2. So here, the delta VW2 will be minus of minus, that is plus. So this is 492, no? VW1 is 492 plus 3.2, it is 490.2 meters per second. What is the axial thrust and the axial thrust in this kind of an axial flow machine, it's in the flow direction, because the flow direction and the axis in the same direction. So the axial force is m dot into Vf1 minus Vf2. So this will be m dot is 6 into Vf1 is 179 minus 148. So this comes to around 181 Newton. So already we have seen beta 1 as 35 degrees and beta 2 as 32 degrees. Then what is the power? The power is equal to m dot into specific work. How to find that actually? M dot is into, what is this particular thing? I need to find, that is delta VW into U. So m dot is 6 into delta VW is 495.2. So maybe I can write the formula. This is W by M is equal to VW1 minus of minus, that is plus, into U. Into U is 235.65. Multiply everything. I'm getting around 700 kilowatts. And if you want, you can find stage efficiency. What is the stage efficiency? That's an extra thing. If you want, you can find. This will be the power divided by the energy available per stage, that is V square by 2G. If you want, you can do that. Substitute, you can do 700 into 10 to the power of 3 divided by your corresponding V1 square by and 2, and you will get the corresponding stage efficiency. So anyway, that is not asked in this numerical, but still you can find. This is the simplest of the simple impulse turbine which I have taken, and I have tried to solve this problem using only velocity triangles. And same problem we'll take in the next class. In the next class, that is on day after tomorrow. The same problem we'll try to solve using your graphical method. So graph sheet, on the graph sheet, we'll take some scale. Maybe take, for example, 1 centimeter is equal to some 50 meters per second or 80 meters per second, 100 meters per second, depending upon our convenience. And we'll try to draw that. And from that, we make it values. Say, we see in this calculator, we got V1 is equal to 523.8. Or there, we may get 520 something. So it will be very close. And you will end up with a graphical solution. So for you in steam turbines, you should be in a position to solve the given problem using both graphical method as well as the theoretical, that is your trigonometric method. Okay, fine. So we'll stop at this particular point and we'll take up the remaining things in the next class. So if there are any